It's time to build your business model around the goal of paying yourself. How exactly do you do that? Stick around and find out. Hey, I'm Janet LeBlanc from Paper and Spark, and I help makers and artists just like you start and scale online businesses so that you can achieve your entrepreneurial dreams and financial goals with ease. By the end of this video today, you'll finally know the key piece you've been missing when it comes to setting your annual business financial goals. Stick around for access to my free plug-and-play take-home pay calculator that allows you to enter your own goals, your own numbers, and see if your business model can support your dreamy financial goals or not. I absolutely love financial goal setting for your business. I think hitting pause at the end of the year or the very beginning of the new year to review your numbers and your results and set new, fresh goals for the next year can be a real game changer for your business. But too many of us business owners are doing ourselves a complete disservice when we actually go through this process of setting financial goals. Most entrepreneurs sit down and start setting financial goals based on their sales. They may set a sales goal, they may set like a number of products or orders goal, or maybe they'll even start with like a net income or profit goal. That means that they begin goal setting by thinking about how much they hope to make in revenue or total sales in that new year. Here's my problem with starting with sales. The sales goal doesn't really mean much if you're eating up all of your sales with your expenses, with spending. Your sales goal can be anything, any number, but what really matters is the profit that's left over, your net income. And honestly, what really matters beyond that is how much you're able to pay yourself, the money that you actually transfer into your personal bank account for all your hard work from your business for the year. So my suggestion is not to start with setting a sales goal, not to start with setting an expense goal, not even really to start with setting a net income goal or a profit goal. The main purpose of running your shop, being a business owner, being self-employed, should be to pay yourself what you want or what you need for all your hard work. The end goal is nailing your take-home pay. That's why I encourage you to start your financial goal setting every year with your take-home pay goal in mind first. Too many of us entrepreneurs are not paying ourselves for our hard work. That leads to burnout. You owe it to yourself to pay yourself, and in order to do that, you've got to bake it into your goal setting and your business model. If you agree, give my video a thumbs up or let me know in the comments. So I want to show you an actual example of baking in the ability to pay yourself when you set your financial goals so that you can understand if your business model supports your take-home pay goal or not. And that all starts by considering it with your goal setting process. Like I said, the easiest way for me to show you this process instead of talking through it is to actually show you a numerical example. I'll be working through this by writing it out and putting it into a plug-and-play calculator, and you can download your own copy of the plug-and-play calculator right here to follow along with your own numbers. So on this side of the screen, I'm sharing the plug-and-play calculator that you can download for free. The link is in the video description. And on this side of my screen, I am sharing my iPad screen where I'm going to be drawing a map of this goal setting process. So you can do this process either way. You can write it on a piece of paper, you can draw a map, you can use the plug and play calculator, whatever method works best for your brain. I know a lot of people are spreadsheet adverse, so that's why I also like to show the revenue map part of it. So the most important thing is to first figure out your take-home pay goal for the year. There's no wrong or right number for your take-home pay goal. It may be something small, it may be something big. You might want to replace your day job wages with it. You may want to be able to fund specific vacation or pay for something specific. For my example, I'm going to use a take-home pay goal of $24,000. All right, the next thing we want to do is add any cushion that we want to keep in our business bank account throughout the year. So if I want to pay myself $24K, that means I want to take $24K out of my business into my personal bank account. I don't probably want to have $0 left in my business bank account at the end of the year after I pay myself that amount. So what is the cushion that you feel comfortable leaving behind as a minimum amount in your business bank account? For my example, I'm going with $2,000. I always want to have at least $2,000. So all I need to do is add these two numbers together, my take-home pay goal, my cushion for keeping in the business bank account, and that becomes my net income goal. Remember, net income is my sales minus my expenses. For me to be able to pay myself $24K, I've got to make a net income of at least $26,000. The next step is to think about your profit margin. If you've been running your business for a few years, look back at your profit margin for the past year or two and see what it's been historically in the past. If you've had a loss, so maybe your profit margin percentage has been negative, or if you're newer at business, if you sell physical products, a good benchmark profit margin percentage to aim for is 30 to 50%. Now zoom out a little bit. What the heck is profit margin percentage? It's how much of your sales you keep in your business after your expenses. So in my example here, a 40% profit margin means for every dollar I make, I keep 40 cents. That means that I spent 60 cents out of that dollar. You can calculate your profit margin percentage by taking your net income during any one time period and dividing it by your sales during that same time period. So I'll just make a little note over here real quick so that you know what I'm talking about. Your net income divided by your sales equals your profit margin percentage. So for my example, I'm going to use a 40% profit margin percentage. Why do I need to know this number? It's going to help me work backwards. Just keep watching. So 40% goal profit margin percentage. I can take my net income goal I just set and divide it by my profit margin percentage that I just entered, and that will work backwards to give me my sales goal. So $26,000 divided by 0.4 equals $65,000, and that is my new sales goal. So this makes sense because if I keep 40% of 65K in sales, I'm going to end up with 26K in net income. That means that I am spending $39,000. So now I have a budget for my business, a sales goal for my business, a net income goal that all supports me being able to pay myself my take-home pay goal. Now, if you're using the plug and play calculator for this, all you have to do is enter these white cells. The color cells have formulas in them, so you can play with whatever goes here, try entering different profit margins, and it will update the numbers for you based on what you're entering in the white cells. The real helpfulness with this exercise is if you keep going from here. This exercise is really helpful if you keep working backwards from this point. So we may know our sales goal now. How are we going to make 65K in sales, in total revenue? What are we going to do? You likely have different arms of your business or different revenue streams. So I suggest working backwards from there. If you look at the revenue streams tab of the plug and play calculator, you can enter different arms of your business here, and you can give yourself a goal percentage of sales for each revenue stream. You may base that on what's happened in the past for your business. Maybe you know typically, historically, how much each arm brings in. And you can also play with these numbers to play around with your goals and see. So for my example, I have a 65K sales goal, and I have 3 arms of my business that I'm going to break things out into. I have an Etsy shop, I do in-person workshops, and I also do shows. And I'm going to break out my 65K goal amongst those 3 different arms. Let's say I make about 50% of my sales on Etsy, so if I take 50% times 65K, that gives me a goal of $32,500. Workshops, I'm going to divvy the rest of it equally amongst these 2 things, and I'm kind of speeding through this process here, but hopefully you get the idea of what I'm saying. You can play around with your percentage of sales based on what you know about your business and based on what your goals for the new year are. Then I really like to work backwards from the sales goal per source to your orders goal, and you can do that if you know your average order value. So I have other videos that explain average order value that you're welcome to check out. But your average order value is calculated as your sales on any one platform divided by your number of orders, both over the same time period. So if you know your historic average order value for your different revenue streams, that's a really useful metric to use here to work backwards. If you don't know your average order value yet because maybe you're newer, look at the average price points of what you're selling and make an educated guess. So if I take my sales goal for Etsy, $32,500, and divide it by my average order value for that platform, which I think is $47 per order, I have an orders goal of $691 for Etsy. So I can actually work backwards from my sales goal to figure out my orders goal for that platform. I can work back one step further from this if I know my conversion rate. Again, check out my YouTube channel for more videos on conversion rate, but my conversion rate is a metric that tells me the percentage of my visitors, my shop visitors, that actually buy something. So 3.5% conversion rate means that for every 100 visitors to my shop site, 3.5% actually buy something. So if I divide my orders goal by my conversion rate, I can get my traffic goal. I can work backwards to figure out how many people need to visit my Etsy shop if they continue converting at 3.5% to buy 691 things, to spend about $47 to make $32,500 in sales. So let's do 691 divided by 3.5%, and that gets me my traffic goal. We have a couple of rounding differences here, but I'm gonna put the plug and play calculator calculated. So now I have a traffic goal, and I can rinse and repeat this process for all the arms of my business. I don't always have a conversion rate to look at when I'm talking about in-person events, but I can still work backwards to set order goals, or it may not be orders. For my workshops, I'm gonna have a student goal, and for my shows, I'm just gonna work backwards based on how much money I make on average at each show to know how many shows I need to do this year in order to meet that revenue goal. And again, if you're using plug and play calculator, you can enter information in the white cells, and the built-in formulas in the pink ones will populate data for you, so you can play around with it, see what your goals look like if you boost your average order value, if your conversion rate improved this year. You can play around with the numbers to see how your results change. But I want you to end up with this roadmap of what your business model needs to look like in order for you to build out your business to support the take-home pay goal that you want for next year. Are you surprised by what your business roadmap looks like? What does your business need to do next year in order to support the take-home pay goal that you're hoping for? How far are you from achieving that business model right now? I'd really like to hear if you found this exercise enlightening or not. It's kind of a new way to look at setting financial goals. Let me know in the comments. Now that you've set up that take-home pay goal and mapped out your business model to help you get there, learn more about the logistics of how to actually pay yourself in my next video, Paying Yourself First, how to pay yourself as a sole proprietor or LLC.